Welcome back here to the 2018 Hall of Fame Classic, Indiana High School Hall of Fame Classic, as we get ready for diving. I'm Eric Eaton, and I'll be joined by Kurt Haas. Kurt, a former diving coach here at Franklin Community High School, also a member of the Indiana High School Swimming and Diving Hall of Fame. Kurt, welcome, and talk to us a little bit about the format. We've got 8 finalists for both the men and the women about ready to dive here in finals. I know there was a prelim that set up these finalists.
The kids all did 8 dives last night. The top 8 in each gender qualify for the finals today. This is a great opportunity for the kids to get a championship atmosphere, actually almost a state level atmosphere. And even though we had a lot of young divers, we only have one former state qualifier, I believe. That's Gage Creek from Franklin. And but there's no other way to get that experience, and it will allow them to compete at a higher level in every other championship meet they have this year. Yeah,
you mentioned it. There's probably not a lot of opportunities for divers throughout the season where they get a big marquee event like this to showcase what they've got, and they've got one in the early stages of the season here.
Yes, it's a real push for them and their coaches to get ready, but that's the challenge, and the benefit is great, though.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at our 8 finalists for the women diving here. This afternoon will be Bailey Kelly of Plainfield, Kaylee Prouder of Zionsville, Sarah Chimp of Chesterton, Alison Hale of West Lafayette, Delaney Howell of Zionsville, Brooke Farnham of Concord, Marina Weinberg of Chesterton, and the 8th will be Brooke Bernhardt of Plainfield. And for the men, this is based on how they come in seated.
This is their dive order.
Okay, this is their dive order. It'll be Aaron Lees diving first out of Concord. Diving second will be Jason Atkins of Chesterton. And third will be Justin Tracy of Floyd Central. Diving fourth will be John Bell of Chesterton. Diving fifth, Evan Thomas of Floyd Central. Diving diving seventh will be Kaden Kennedy of Plainfield, and then it will be Kean Dalton of Greenfield Central, and then Gage Creech from Franklin Community will be the last diver for the men. Is he the leader coming in then?
He is the leader coming in. As we go through, we will get the girls actually in their diving order. Okay. So I believe they're ready to go.
Okay. So the first diver for the girls up on the block will be Marina Weinberg of Chesterton. And I believe you've gotten written down, she comes in 8th overall.
Right. Interestingly, they have switched from the swim end to the diving end, and they're having just a second of technical issue on their end, but we're just about ready to go.
So each diver's will do 3 dives?
They will do 3 dives. These dive lists that each athlete does ideally would be a precursor of their state meet list or state tournament list of dives. So it gives them a real good indication of where to go, what they need to do.
How many dives did they do last night then?
They did 8 last night.
Okay.
They did 8 last night. It's a long evening for them. Our first... Oh, okay, they're announcing the dive order right now. As we go through, we'll try to give you a little information about what their point totals were coming in. And, I believe a lot of these kids will be good in their area. It is almost unfair, really, for them to dive 11 dive meet this early, but by pushing through it, they can set their goals for the season based on this meet.
The leader coming in for the women, she'll dive last here, will be Brooke Bernhardt from Plainfield.
Yes, we've got teams from all over the state, as you know, those of you listening. And so you've got a judge panel that's representing all areas of the state. Sometimes each area will get a little different philosophy. And so it will give the kids a good idea, okay, this is how it's going to be officiated or judged or whatever. Okay, our first dive is going to be an inward 1.5 somersault.
This is Marina Weinberg from Chesterton.
She's doing this tuck position. And she's off to a good start. She had a little over-rotation on the entry and possibly just a hair twist. We're in the top row of the bleachers, so it's a little tough to tell. But she scored really well.
That's 6s and 6s and 5s. They'll throw out, the high score and the low score each dive?
Correct, and they'll take the middle 3 scores, the scores that are kept, times the degree of difficulty.
40.70 for that dive from Marina. Next up will be Delaney Howell from Zionsville.
She's doing a reverse somersault tuck position. Okay, it's a lower difficulty dive, but she did it pretty well. Maybe a little flat-footed on the bottom, but other than, that means on the entry.
All 5.5s for a score of 26.40 for Delaney.
I would say this early in the season, if a diver comes in and they score all 5s or better throughout the whole list, they're probably fairly happy, a young group like this.
This is Bailey Kelly from Plainfield on the diving board.
Okay, she did a back dive tuck. She fell away from the board a little bit, and it caused her to arch in. So the score should be a little lower than the last 2 dives.
Yeah, she's got 2 5s and 2 4.5s and a 4 for a score of 21 even. Next up, Sarah Chimp from Chesterton High School.
Yeah, Sarah is 4th going in the final round. She's doing an interval 1.5 somersault in tuck position. Degree of difficulty is 2.2. Okay. All right. She ended up pushing away from the board and being just a little bit short, but she did the dive overall pretty well. The scores ought to be in the 5 range, yeah.
There you see the scores for a score of 33 even there for Sarah. And next up on the on the board will be Alison Hale from West Lafayette High School.
Okay, she's doing an inward dive pike. Again, the lower difficulty dives, you expect them to perform better than the optionals in a lot of cases. Ooh, pretty nicely done. Again, from this position, it looks like she's a little bit out from the board, but other than that, not too bad.
And there are the scores for Allison with a score of total score of 25.50.
Again, remember what I said. If they're getting 5s or better on every dive with this field in this competition this early in the year, I think they're probably pretty happy.
Our next diver up will be Brooke Farnham from Concord High School.
Okay, Brooke's 5th going in. She was 217 points after the semifinal. She's doing a back 1.5 somersault with a half twist free. This is a 2-1 difficulty, so she's got a little higher difficulty than the other girls. If you can do this dive, it goes in pretty much straight up and down, and you'll get a good toe point and you get a good score. Okay, had a little twist. She wasn't totally square with the board on the entry, and not all the way out of. She had a pike in her hips going in.
And there are the scores for Brooke Farnham. As you can see, a total score of 28.35 for the dive.
Difficulty helped her. She was near the 5.
Next diver will be Kaylee Prouder from Zionsville High School, and she's ready to go already.
She was the 3rd diver after the prelims, 227 points. She did a back somersault straight. All right. This will be interesting. You don't see that dive often. Sometimes that makes it tough on the judging panel. I'm guessing. There we go.
There are the scores for Kaylee. A total score of 28.04 for the dive.
I don't know if this is obvious to everybody, but what the coaches usually do in a meet like this, they want to make sure the kids make the finals, so the best 8 dives are in the front of the meet or they won't make the cut. Okay, so
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make the show, right? So these are the dives that they hope to perfect later in the day. This is a nice dive. But
that was Brooke Bernhardt, the leader.
She is the leader, and for a good reason. She has nice mechanics. She comes out, lines up, does a nice job on entry, and the scores show it.
Really good scores for Brooke, 32.80, so that should keep her in the lead as we go to the next round of diving. We'll switch to the guys now. First up for them will be the diver that comes in second place. That's Aaron Lees from Concord High School.
He had 232 points.
Aaron Lees from Concord, doing dive 301B, degree of difficulty 1.7, reverse dive pike.
Okay, Aaron doing a reverse dive pike. Now, this dive, you have to have a good jump, have a good pike position, and the idea is to get good and straight on the entry. And if you can do that, you can score a lot of points, even on the low difficulty. And he did it pretty well, just a hair out from the board. But other than that, pretty good job.
There are the scores for Aaron. 30.60 the total score there. Next diver up on the board will be Jason Atkins from Chesterton High School.
Jason is 7th. He's doing an inward somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 1.6. A lot of the kids are doing, this is probably a lead up for an inward 1.5 that he'll do later on in the year.
Looks like he over-rotated there at the end.
Yes, he backed away from the board, and it caused him to over-rotate, and that's why he's not doing the harder dive yet.
And there are the scores, 19.20 the score. Next diver up will be Justin Tracy from Floyd Central.
All right, Justin's doing a reverse dive tuck. He is in 5th place after the first 8 dives. Okay. Justin got a forward lean with his upper body at the end of the board, and it pushed the dive out pretty far, so it affected the height, it affected the scores.
There you can see Justin's scores. Total score 24.00. The next diver will be John Bell from Chesterton High School.
John was 8th after 8 dives. He is doing a 51.22D. That would be a forward 1 somersault with 1 twist free position, degree of difficulty 1.9. Okay, you over-rotated. You've got to stop the twist by extending your arms prior to the entry, and he went by it.
And there are the scores for John. You can see that the yellow numbers are the scores he's keeping there. The next diver will be Evan Thomas from Floyd Central. 25.65, by the way, for John Bell.
Very good. This will be a reverse 1.5 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 2.1. Really nice jump. Got good height and had good tuck, but he arched on the way out and dive went over a little bit. Now it'll be interesting how much they reward the first part of the dive.
Score 37.8.
There you can see the scores for Evan.
Pretty good.
37.80 the score. And your next diver is going to be Kaden Kennedy from Plainfield.
He's doing a reverse dive tuck, degree of difficulty 1.6. Again, lower difficulty dive. I don't know, he got a little off balance on the takeoff, and it got pushed out, and he got a little arch in it.
There are the scores for Kaden, 24.00 the score, 24 flat.
A lot of the kids will be working real hard on approaches because people change their mechanics sometimes when they're young divers in a pressure situation.
Kean Dalton, the next up on the board from Greenfield Central High School.
So they're going to learn from that experience. He is doing a forward dive pike position, degree of difficulty 1.3. Okay, if you saw him flail his arms just a little bit on the takeoff, got a little off balance, but he saved it.
There are the scores for Kean, a total score of 21.45. Next up will be your leader, Gage Creech, from right here diving in his home pool, Franklin Community High School.
Gage has a huge lead. He's got a reverse dive, straight position, degree of difficulty 1.8. He gets really good height off the board. Has a nice jump, takes it way up in the air, and went over-rotated. It was beautiful at the start. So we're going to see what the judges do. They've got to weigh how much is that mistake worth.
We'll see how much the over-rotation cost Gage as he came in the leader. There's your scores. 32.40 for Gage.
I mean, that dive started out at an 8, and the entry dropped him 2 points.
Okay. So that entry is very critical.
Yeah.
Switch back to the women now. Back up on the on the board rather, for her second dive will be Marina Weinberg of Chesterton.
Okay, she's doing a twisting dive, a back 1 1/2 somersault, half twist, free position, degree of difficulty 2.1. Okay, she crimped her legs, bent her knees a little bit on the finish in order to get a good entry.
Score 34.5.
You either want, in a free position, when you finish the dive, you want to have a defined position. If you don't, it hurts you a little bit.
31.50 the score. Next up will be Delaney Howell from Zionsville.
But that's something that could be fixed pretty easy. All right. Okay, she doesn't have a great jump, but she has good mechanics, good and solid, nice. Every one somersault, nothing major wrong with it.
Score 28.0.
There you can see the scores, the 3 in yellow, one she's keeping, score 28 flat.
Difficulty 2.2.
And your next diver is going to be Bailey Kelly from Plainfield.
Okay, she's doing a 5132D, which is a forward 1 1/2 somersault full twist. And this is a hard dive for a lot of girls, really. And she had difficulty with it. Too much to talk about right now, but she had a little difficulty. You got to do the somersault and then the twist, and she kind of got them.
Score
24.20 the score.
Yeah.
Next up will be Sarah Chimp for her second dive of this round. Sarah from Chesterton High School.
Yes. Sarah's one of our leaders. She's doing a twisting dive again, a back somersault with full twist. No, a half twist, I'm sorry. Degree of difficulty 1.7. A lot of times early season, they don't have the twister they want. And so I would consider that a lead up in most cases.
28.90 the total score for that dive for Sarah. Next diver will be Alison Hale from West Lafayette.
Allison is doing a reverse somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 1.6. Now, you'll notice a lot of these divers are doing similar dives. It's because they're all at the same stage of their career. She did that very nicely. Had a nice jump. She came around. She knew where the entry was, and it had very little splash for her feet first entry.
And the score 25.60 for Allison. Next up is Brooke Farnham from Concord, her second dive of the finals.
Okay, she's doing a 5132D, front 1 1/2 with a full twist and free position. Basically, they can do tuck, pike, and straight in that dive, but they've got to be defined. You can't kind of blend them together, so to speak. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Needs to clean the finish a little bit. The 2-2 difficulty will help her, and if her scores are 5, there you go.
31.9 for Brooke Farnham. Next diver stepping up on the board is Kaylee Prouder from Zionsville.
Okay, Kaylee is doing a reverse somersault tuck. Okay, she got jammed on the end of the board, and so the dive went out pretty far, but she did complete the dive and got stood up at the end.
20.8 for Kaylee. Next diver is the leader, Brooke Bernhardt from Plainfield.
Okay, Brooke is doing a back somersault with 1 1/2 twists free. It's 2-3 difficulty. And does it pretty well. She got a little, fell back from the board just a shade, but she'll score pretty well here. Yes. You know, she scored, 15 points more than the average probably for this group.
41.40 the score, keeping 6.5 and 2 sixes. And we'll switch back to the guys now for their second round of diving here. Aaron Lees will be up first on the board here in the second round from Concord High School.
Okay, he's doing a back 1 1/2 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 2.0. This would be a dive that would be the first of maybe a state level. In state level competition, the optional dives need to be over 2.0 dives for sure. Okay, fell back from the board a little bit, and the dive was short, but it's all there. I mean, he had a good tight tuck.
32.0.
32 flat there for Aaron. Next diver will be Jason Atkins of Chesterton.
He's doing a 51.22D, which is a forward one somersault with one twist free position, and the difficulty is 1.9. Okay, he landed about a foot from the end of the board, and then in diving terms, you need good lines in your dive, and he had one leg that was particularly bent, and that affected his scores.
23.75 the score. Justin Tracy next up on the board for Floyd Central.
All right, he's doing a 52.21, which is a back one somersault with a half twist free position. It's a 1.7 dive. Okay, pretty nicely done. A little flat-footed on the entry, but just good, solid mechanics. He's going the right way.
Scores there, 24.65 for the dive. And next up will be John Bell from Chesterton High School for his second dive of the finals here.
Okay, John is doing an inward somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 1.6. Okay, they must be having a little issue. Maybe one of the scores didn't come across from the electronic console.
They're going to have him step down off the board here.
Yeah, it shouldn't be take too much to fix this. Every time.
We'll be doing dive 402C.
Here we go.
Degree difficulty 1.6. Inward one somersault tuck.
John is doing inward one somersault tuck. Degree of difficulty 1.6. Pretty nicely done. He had a good tight tuck position and came around, stood straight up on the finish at a good solid distance.
27.2.
Keeping a 6 and 2, 5.5 and a 5. Total score 27.20. Next up on the board, Evan Thomas out of Floyd Central High School.
Evan is doing a 52.31, which is a back 1.5 somersault with a half twist. Degree of difficulty 2.1. Good difficulty for this contest. Had a good takeoff, and he had a good entry. He got a nice reach right off the takeoff, and it went nice and tall, and he piked out, put a good finish on that dive.
And a very high-scoring dive there, 45.15 the score, as we switch to Kaden Kennedy now of Plainfield High School.
You want to see the good dives get rewarded. You have good mechanics. That's what you want to see, and the panel did. That probably is the highest set of judges' scores we've seen today. Okay, we have a back twister. This is 1.5 twist with a half twist, same dive. Okay, not done quite as well. When he went in the water, we're looking at the back of his legs a little bit, so he over-twisted, so he won't receive the same level of score.
Yeah, the total score 26.25 for that dive.
I think this is right.
And then we've got Kean Dalton from Greenfield Central, next diver, stepping up onto the board.
All right, Kean's a young diver. He's doing a back somersault tuck. Very likely he's in that group I was talking about who, they used their strong dives in the first 8, so they want to. Okay, nicely done. He had a good jump. It came around, had a good tuck position, and the entry wasn't too bad. Maybe a little bit short.
Score
26.25 there for Kean. Next diver will be Gage Creech from Franklin Community, a state finalist from the 2018 state finals.
Gage is getting good scores on a lot of dives. He's got a forward 2.5 somersault in tuck position. No. Oh, wow. Nicely done.
That one, didn't he?
Nicely done. And he gets so much more height. It finishes the dive much higher, and they're rewarding him right here.
51.60, an outstanding score there for Gage.
Absolutely.
Next up will be the women, their final round of dives now. First on the board will be Marina Weinberg from Chesterton.
She's doing a 52-23D, which is a back one somersault with 1 1/2 twists. It's a degree of difficulty of 2.3. This is a good dive to have in your list. Okay, she over-rotated, got a pretty big splash. She did complete the dive.
Score 23.0.
23 even?
Yeah, because of that over-rotation, she was over on her front pretty heavy.
Delaney Howell from Zionsville, the next diver.
She's doing an inward dive pike, degree of difficulty 1.5. Okay, nice solid dive. Delaney's not a real big girl, and she doesn't, at this point, doesn't get real big height, but she did a nice dive.
29.25.
And she got the scores for it, too. Those 6.5s, it's a low difficulty dive.
Now Bailey Kelly from Plainfield, the next diver on the board.
Bailey's doing a forward 2 somersault pike. Okay, she got a little sideways on the board, and then her entry was short. So the difficulty will help her, but the entry will hurt her.
Got some splash on the entry there. It's 29.90 the score.
Is that
Degree of difficulty 2.3. A back one somersault.
Next up will be Sarah Chimp from Chesterton.
Sarah is doing a back somersault with 1 1/2 twist free, 2.3. Again, this very well may be a good dive for a lot of these girls. This is one you'll want to have in your list. Okay, again, having the same problem. She's throwing the somersault so hard that over-rotated. And so she's going to get penalized on her scores.
21.85 there for Sarah on her final dive of the competition. Next up will be Alison Hale, West Lafayette.
Okay, she's doing a 51-22D, a forward somersault with a full twist free position, degree of difficulty 1.9. Okay, she didn't get enough somersault, left it short of vertical. So even though she completed the twist, she's going to be short and get penalized somewhat.
So 24.70 on the dive there. You can see her total score of 292.75. And the next diver up is going to be Brooke Farnham from Concord.
Brooke is doing a reverse somersault in tuck position, degree of difficulty 1.6. Good jump. All right, good tuck. Over-rotated just a little bit on the finish, but I don't know. There were enough good things that she might get 5.5s on this.
Score 25.6.
25.60, 303.35 the final score. Next up will be Kaylee Prouder from Zionsville.
Okay, she's doing an inward somersault tuck position, degree of difficulty 1.6. Okay, a good tuck position. Didn't have a lot of height.
Score 26.4.
Now I'll tell you what, it looked a little better than I thought she might get from the judges. So from here, maybe she may have gotten more height than I actually realized.
26.40. Here's Brooke Bernhardt, her final dive, and she had a really nice dive in her last dive.
It's a full twisting front 1.5. She did a nice solid dive. Probably would have liked a little better take off the board. She didn't get all the lift she would have liked.
Score 38.5.
38.50 for Brooke, and her final score 369.25.
She's got good mechanics, and she's getting rewarded, which she should. So.
Now the men, their final round of dives. Aaron Lee's first up on the board from Concord here.
He's doing a forward 2.5 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 2.4. Okay, pretty solid. It didn't finish real high, didn't finish above the board height, but pretty nicely done.
40.80 for Aaron. Next up will be Jason Atkins of Chesterton High School.
Back, one somersault, one half twist free.
He's doing a back one somersault, one half twist free. Degree of difficulty 1.7. This will be a dive they'll try to add more twist to over the season. Oops, I don't know. He ended up almost 90 degrees short on the twist. If he's more than 90 degrees short, it'll be an incomplete or failed dive.
Score,
but he did, okay.
7.65, so he did get a score on that dive. Next up will be Justin Tracy of Floyd Central.
Again, I can't emphasize enough, when you're sitting in stands, you are not seeing everything that the judges see down there. Okay, he did a forward dive pike, degree difficulty 1.3. It's a low difficulty dive.
22.10. Looked like with these arms he might have been reaching for the water a little bit there on the entry.
Degree difficulty 1.7. Back, one somersault.
22.60 the score. Next up, John Bell of Chesterton.
He's doing a 21D, I'm sorry, which would be a back somersault with a half twist, free position. Okay, again, he did the somersault, but he ended up short of the twist, so he's going to get penalized some for that.
Score
13.60 here.
Evan will be doing dive.
Evan Thomas next up from Floyd
Degree
Central.
difficulty 1.3. Forward
Okay,
dive.
he's doing a forward dive pike, degree of difficulty 1.3. I've noticed for him a number of his lower difficulty dives have been pretty good. Ooh, okay. He got too much forward lean on the start, lost control of the dive a little bit. That will hurt his score some.
So we await the scores here.
Yeah.
Score
19.5 for Evan Thomas. Kaden Kennedy, next diver on the board from Plainfield.
2.4.
Again, I can't emphasize enough. When most of the time you can sit in the stands and you can get real close to get the score the judges will get. But every once in a while, the angle, ooh, all right. He did a 4.2.5 somersault with 2.4, which is good difficulty. I'm guessing, basing on the way his teammates and the other divers cheered, it's a new dive.
Okay.
And so he's working in the right direction, but it's not there yet.
And there's the score, 14.4.
He probably didn't. They probably judged that he did not come out of the dive. And if you don't come out of the dive, attempt to come out of the dive, it's a max score of 2.
Next diver is Keon Dalton from Greenfield.
Okay, he is doing a forward somersault with a full twist and free position. Not too bad. Again, he's a young diver, and I think his coach might be pretty happy with that. I don't think he's been a diver for this year.
24.70. And your final diver will be Gage Creek, the leader. Gage Creek came in with the big lead in this final round of competition.
Okay. He is doing a reverse 1.5 with a half twist. This is a really pretty dive if it's done well. Okay. Okay, I misspoke. He was doing a reverse somersault with 2.5 twists, and he didn't get a good takeoff, so that's not going to be his best.
35.0 for Gage Creech, but a final score of 436.80. And Kurt, thank you for stepping in here and helping us out with diving here this afternoon.
Very good. Very good. Always fun. Thank you.
We're just going to wrap up our diving. We'll sign off, and you'll have to re-log back in and back for the swimming.